For Pokemon Legends ZA, I have talked to you about the best shiny hunting methods, ones that are almost going to theoretically guarantee you a shiny in a very small amount of time. But today, we're going to be talking about the worst shiny hunting method in Pokemon Legends ZA. Let's define this a little bit. For it to be a shiny hunting method, that means that it has to be something that will eventually lead to a shiny Pokemon. And by a method, that means that it's going to be something that you as the player are going to have to do in order for you to get a Pokemon to be shiny. And I've done the math. I know the worst shiny hunting method. It's not the one you think. I know that, because I put out yesterday's video talking about the math behind all of the shiny hunting methods, but I didn't include this one. I really don't recommend that you do, but you could. So I've talked about benching, right? And actually I've been benching at this bench over here for shiny Fennekin, so thank you to everyone who recommended that strategy. I already got myself two of them, two little foxes, two little dusty boys. Oh, one's a girl. That's not common. What is that, 1 out of 8? Look at that dusty lady. I know exactly the Pokemon that I want to go after. It's going to be one that is going to be spawned in the entire time. Going to be a Pokemon that I can very easily get, but we're doing it the least efficient way possible. The very first step in doing this is you have to disable all of the auto sleep functions in your game. You have to disable auto sleep playing on system or connected to TV or playing media content. All of that, just go ahead and disable it. And I'm going to shiny hunt that Pichu over there. After you go ahead and disable the power sleep options, you want to make sure that your controller is plugged in. That way it always has battery and you're not going to be on the controller connecting screen, just in case, I don't know, you walk away from your Switch and you're not actively keeping track of it. We're within 50 meters of a Pokemon, that Pichu over there. And then you wait 68 days. Have you picked up on it yet? I'm going to call this method letting time pass. Every 2 minutes that you spend in-game represents 1 hour in-game. At the end of your 16 hours during the day and your 8 hours at night, all the Pokemon despawn and they respawn in. And all of them have a chance at being shiny 1 out of 4,096, or with the shiny charm, about a quarter of that. Over the course of 24 hours, there are 2 switches to day to night. Over 48 minutes, you are going to have 2 different rerolls of this Pokemon. For you to have 1-to-1 odds, and by that I mean that you have gone a total of 4,096 rerolls of the Pokemon, which is only about a 63% chance for it to be shiny if we're getting real technical on math here. That means that you would have to go 5,898,240 seconds while the day-night cycle passes. I didn't even take into account the actual animation. You know what? We're not going to count that because during that time is frozen. You're not actively working toward it. Only time that you're working toward it is going to count. That equals 98,304 minutes, which equals 1,638.4 hours, or 68.3 days. If your character stays here for 68.3 days without the shiny charm, you've waited a total of 4,096 day/night transitions in order for that Pokemon to be at 1-to-1 odds. I just realized something that I don't know if you guys know about me. I have a tattoo of 68. I'm not going to tell you what it means. This is a tattoo for me, my 68. So this was foretold. This was written in the scriptures. This was written on my body before this game came out. This is a real tattoo, by the way. Oh, see, I didn't turn off the screen preventative going to sleep stuff. It'd be very important because after 10 minutes, your hunt would be paused. And my argument for this being the worst shiny hunt ever is because that's 68 consecutive days, that 1,638 hours of gameplay is actively working toward it being shiny. You're not doing something to sabotage yourself of actually getting a shiny Pokemon. Over an infinite amount of time and an infinite amount of electricity of your Switch being on, that will eventually be a shiny Pichu. It just occurred to me that here, my 4th playthrough, I haven't really touched this one that much. And this one is definitely staring at a Pichu right now, but most importantly, does not have the shiny charm. With the current resale price of the Nintendo Switch, there's not a lot of good reason to actually get rid of your Switch 1. This one is right here, staring at that Pichu. I'm gonna definitely relocate it from being right there, but we'll see. I'm now embarking on the longest shiny hunt ever recorded in human history, which in hindsight I now know is just very inefficient benching. That's what we're doing. It's benching, but without a bench. So it's just waiting. I'm also gonna turn the sound down because it's just Pichu crying every 15 seconds in my room, and I don't need to hear that for the next 2.5 months. This shiny hunt started on October 28th, 2025 at 12:50 p.m. And let's see how much time passes until it becomes shiny. I'm obviously also going to plug it in. Now, there is an important thing that I want to talk about here. Every single thing that I am doing in my game is working toward that Pichu being shiny. I would like to reference a good friend of mine, Reversal, and his 4-year hunt for a shiny Feebas. The amount of time for him to put the rod into the water, reel up the Pokemon, see that it's not shiny, and run away from battle. Only a few seconds of every single one of these 3,822 encounters counted toward working that goal. Now, the distinction here is that that Feebas had an encounter rate of 1%, hence why his casts were about 100 times higher. So by the definition that we are going by here, about 99% of the time that he did toward that hunt of that one Pokemon was not toward that one Pokemon. But this beautiful Pichu right here, every second is working toward that one Pokemon becoming shiny. For the record, and Rev already knows this, I love him, we're friends, we've been busting each other's balls for a long time. We have very different definitions on what the longest shiny hunt ever is, and my fun BS video that I'm doing here is not going to take away any validity from his journey that he went on for 4 years. This is my shiny hunt for the worst odds ever and the least efficient hunt for a shiny Pokemon possibly ever in human history. My question is, who else is going to embark on the longest and worst and least efficient Pokemon shiny hunt ever in human history with me? And what are you going to hunt? Are you also going to go after this Pichu with me? Because you also have a Nintendo Switch and an extra copy of the game sitting around for some reason? I bet there's at least one person who does. So, great. Add me on Twitter so we can keep up to date with everyone. I might post it on Reddit. Day 42 of the worst shiny hunt ever. Still not shiny. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Thank you so much for being here. Till next time, Austin shining.
Man, they see me shining like I got the charm. Stay strapped, got that jet ball in my palm. Fell from the sky, guess I'm the chosen one. And if you need to know how, check out Austin John. Champion flow, yeah, I got that champion flow.